dealing with the anatomy is dealing with the things that constitute a certain property. So a living being or human body, physical body, has an anatomy. So the soul has an anatomy as well. The anatomy of the soul is thought, forethought, intention. Feelings and emotions play no role in that. He is simply the execution or the creator of emotion, the creator of feeling. The soul creates the feeling. The soul creates the emotion. But the nature of what the soul is in its makeup and design is simply thought, forethought, and intention. The three compartments of the physical body has a head cavity, a chest cavity, and an abdominal region. These three compartments of the physical body is indicative to the soul and the ethereal or the etheric body. An etheric body or the soul is the mind, the heart, and the abdominal. Now, the abdominal region with the soul and the mind and the heart, we have to first understand that the soul is actually the mind. That's the first one we gotta lead with. The heart, the soul is actually the mind, and the mind is actually the soul. So by the mind being the soul, that is in the head region. That is the mind, which is not really the head region. It's really the entire body is where the mind lies. The heart of the soul would be indicative of the soul's intentions, the nature of the soul's intentions towards life and its existence. And the abdominal region will represent the state of consciousness the soul is in. So if the soul is in a degraded state of consciousness, which is low, which is the earth, which is considered also the belly of the beast, which is hell, then the soul will have intentions that are indicative of things that happen in hell, and the mind will follow as well. When the soul alleviates the body, the tangibility of things, it leaves the body through the crown, which is the head. It should not leave through the belly. It only leaves through the abdominal or the bottom of the body when in case the state of condition of that soul is in such condition. To understand spirit, soul, and body, we have to first understand and constitute what is spirit, constitute what is the soul, and what is the body. So when we talk about a body, we're talking about a vehicle. The vehicle carries information. The information could be a vessel. The information could be knowledge. It could be whatever you want it to be. It's information. But when we talk about the spirit, we have to understand that spirit is pure. Just like the soul is pure, it's pure energy. By the spirit being pure, it's without prejudice. It has no prejudice against who it gives life to. So you could be the ugliest beast of the field, you can be an evildoer, you could be whatever. The spirit of the earth will still feed you life. So when we enter this world, the physical body will inhale, which we're taking the inhalation of life through the Holy Spirit, which is the purity of spirit of the earth. And that's what the Holy Spirit is. The Holy Spirit, the word holy means pure, and the spirit means life. That's what we're dealing with. Holy means pure. Spirit means life. So when we inhale, we're taking the inhalation of life by breathing in or inhaling the inhalation of life. And then when we pass, we take away the exhalation of life. The exhalation of life is when we pass away. The inhalation of life is when we begin to breathe life into the physical body. So spirit is really the breath of life. And the spirit of the earth breathes through everything that walks the earth. It is energy and it is etheric. Another thing about spirit is that it is actually matter, immaterialized. It is immaterialized matter. That's what oxygen and the spirit that we breathe is. It's immaterialized matter. We know that it's immaterial because all we have to do is change the temperature in the room and we will automatically see it manifested in the state of water or in the state of ice. So it is immaterial matter. It is actual tangible matter, but it's immaterial. And that's what makes it immaterial, is the fact that we can actually see it once we change the temperature or change the volume or condition of a room. It becomes immaterial. So that's something we have to understand. So that's the spirit. And then understanding the soul and what it is. The soul is actually purity. It is etheric. The soul is etheric. To understand what makes up the soul and the ingredients to understand what makes up the soul, we will never know here in this state and condition. We will never know. Because what makes up who we are as energy, the ingredients that makes that up, we'll never know. But the first thing we have to understand is that the soul is actually a pure energy. That soul does not become or translate into what it's supposed to become until it reaches an environment. So the soul being pure energy, it also has an intention. Every soul has an intention. Every single soul on this planet has an intention. So the intention is the heart. So the heart of the soul is the soul's intention. And whatever that soul's intention is what the heart of the soul is. The soul intention. Now, as far as thought and forethought, thought enters the soul, and then the soul introduces that thought to the brain. So the question would be, where does thoughts come from? And then a person would say the brain, right? But where does the brain get the thought from? The soul. And the question would be, where does the soul get its thoughts from to deliver the information to the brain so it can communicate it through the body? The soul, in essence, and what it is etheric. So what it's doing, it is grabbing information. A cloud of information is around us every single day. And because we're dealing with spirit immaterialized, then that spirit and that energy is insurmountable. So it's the frequency of the soul and the body that is able to access that information. And those thoughts that enter the soul's cavity or environment will be information that the soul will deliver to the body. So we can go more into detail with this. But this is the thought. So this thought, the forethought has to precede the thought. The forethought has to be what precedes the thought. So a forethought is the thought that comes before the actual thought, before the soul decides to deliver that thought to the mind or the brain, and then to the body. The body has no communication without the soul. The only reason why the body exists is because the soul exists. The only way the soul can communicate the feelings of its heart or its intention is through a physical body. So the intentions of the heart is really the intentions of the soul. And that soul, it's organic in its nature. Just like in this existence, we have positive and negative, and we have right and wrong. The soul is illustrated in the same format. However, when the soul enters this earth, we all enter pure. Everything's purity is pure. It's uncontaminated. It is not until information is introduced to the soul and to the body that dynamic begins to change. But from the onset, we're all pure. We're not born evil. Everyone is born ignorant. Ignorance is the only evil. Ignorance. Being ignorant. But alleviating yourself from the state of ignorance is what will give you the life. Ignorance is death. Knowledge is life. The reason why it's wrong to kill is because it inhibits the ideal of prosperity. Life is prosperity. So anytime you're inhibiting something from prospering or from producing life, you're violating a spiritual law, because everything is about prosperity and life. So that is what makes that doing that deed evil. So there's no evil, there's no good. What there is ignorance. And depending on how deep and how trenchy the ignorance is will determine the state and condition of the mind or of a soul. The less ignorance and darkness you have, the more room you have for light. And the more room you have for light, the more freedom the soul will have to fly, to take flight, to grow, and to evolve. The soul is like that of an actor. It doesn't have lines, it doesn't have a script. It doesn't feel anything, it doesn't have any emotions towards anything until the actor is put into an environment that requires the feeling and the emotion to be present. So the soul is like the actor. And the reality environment is what creates the intention.